This video will show the mixing and production of cake dough. Prior to mixing it, we have weighed up our cake dough flour. This is a 50-pound, and added our water, which was 27 pounds. So we have about 77 pounds of product in there. As you can see, we use a handheld drill at the lake with a whisk. Continue to move it around, mix it around, make sure that everything's off the bottom, everything that's dry is off the bottom and getting mixed in. You take a moment in the middle, scrape down the sides to get maybe some of the product that isn't getting mixed in. Make sure that that gets mixed in. Keep on drilling. The whole drilling process really isn't more than 2 or 3 minutes on a cake dough, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, but depending on the size. We make cake doughs as small as 10 pounds and as large as 50. After you go beyond 50 pounds of cake dough, you start worrying about the table life. It does have a life before you actually use it, and you can kind of run your spatula across there to make sure that you don't see any lumps of cake dough flour and that it's smooth. And then I pull it out and take off the whisk, bang it on the side a little bit. We are up by the fryer now, putting the cake dough into the Belshaw hopper. And I'm not sure how well you can tell from this, but what you're trying to do is get some on the spatula, but not on the back of the spatula. You actually use the bowl to scrape off the back of the spatula as you're putting it in. Helps with dripping around. For this first run, you're going to start with the crank towards you, and I'm only going to do 2 on this demonstration so we can go through it, but you start with the crank towards you and you finish with the crank towards you. If you stop in the middle somewhere, you're going to be dripping cake dough out. As you can see now, the holes are closing up. It means it's time to turn. As those holes close, it means it's time to turn them, flip them. You're pushing on the side and not poking them. Drop down the screen to submerge them. A minute later, you have delicious cake donuts. Now this next run, I'll do the whole 48. That's what I attempt to get in there every time. But in training, do 2, do 5, do a dozen until you get comfortable doing a lot more. When you're doing 48, you're going to have to start looking for open spots so you're not dropping them on top of each other. And as they rise up out of the grease from being dropped, they'll push the others aside, which kind of leaves you a little lane to drop the next row in. Holes are closing. It's time to start flipping. And again, you're not poking with the end of the stick. You're using the stick and hitting them on the side of the donut. And then we're going to submerge them. And then when you're dumping them, that one's too small. You try to spread them out on the screen so they're not all stacked up on each other. And then once they get there, you can